Hello, buddy. Welcome back to another episode of Just What I am playing. A hiccup. No, Final Fantasy XIV. Last episode we did the Weeping City of Mach and the story surrounding it, and today we're going to go and continue with our little escapades with the Sky Pirates. Lynn, Kate Sif just sent me out to find you. You have a proper knack for showing up at just the right time, you know that? Anyway, Kate Sif cracked open that tome what we got from Radlia and has been studying all the Nullstone secrets. He thinks he may be onto something important, not just concerning Diabolos and the Shadow Queen, but also the cat himself. Come back to the Perak and we can all hear what he has to say together. Instead of the same background noises happening, so my apologies in advance, if they're even worth mentioning, TBH. Because sometimes you can barely hear them anyway. But I wouldn't know. Right. Okay, sis. As I suspected, this tome was penned by a Maki sorcerer of superior standing, as well as detailing the methods by which the full power of Nullstone might be unleashed. Its pages also contain a number of revelations concerning my master, High Void Mage Césaire. If these histories are to be trusted, then it seems that Césaire himself was responsible for summoning Diabolos. But I thought you said your master was opposed to supporting the war effort. Why would she be the one to call up that bat-winged monster? Césaire only agreed to the ritual as a meaning to bring the conflict to an early resolution. From what I can glean from these passages, Diabolos was intended as a bluff, a threat that was never to be exercised. But those arrogant imbeciles ignored my master's carefully laid restrictions and elected to unleash the fiend upon Amdapor. It was when Césaire moved to protest this act that she was branded a traitor and imprisoned. Once they had contained the opposition, the Void Mages studied all manner of otherworldly arts at the talent feet of their new pet. The most dangerous of which was the rite for summoning Skatak and the method for chaining her power. Yet even after all they had perpetrated, these ambitious fools had the gall to come crawling to Césaire when the coming of the Great Floods was predicted. They begged her to take control of the Void Ark for the salvation of the Maki people. As you saw for yourself, however, the energies of the Shadow Queen broke loose and turned the vessel into a derelict nest of void scent. It seems obvious now that the arts taught by Diabolos were deliberately flawed. The only saving grace in all this madness was when that damnable fiend was sealed away by the White Mages of Amdapor. I shudder to think what would have happened had he been reunited with his queen. So now, 1500 years later, Diabolos is looking to finish what he started. I thought the bat-faced bastard was just some opportunistic underling, but it turns out he is the main villain behind this whole mess. Were Césaire alive today, she would accept responsibility for unleashing Diabolos upon the world. As the High Void Mage's familiar, it is my duty to act in her stead. I have deciphered the secret of the Nullstone, and with its undiluted power shall I erase Diabolos from existence. Huh, I like your spirit, puss. But try not to rush in too quickly, eh? Getting yourself killed won't do us or your master any good. Wait. No one's rushing in anywhere just yet. Or have you forgotten that we're still in the middle of scouting out the fiend's lair? We've got the compass to go by, aye, but who knows what kind of place it'll lead us to or how many demons will be lying in wait when we get there. We fly in with our eyes open or risk getting slaughtered just like the Talons. Oh yeah, speaking of which, the tome made mention of a potential location for... Leofard. Ah, He's behind you. Nah, curse you, fiend. Well, that was easy. At last, at long last. It's as far from over, demon. We'll not allow an abomination like the Shadow Queen to rule this world. Then thou knowest not of ruling. It is might which decideth dominion. But believe what thou mayest, frail creature, you are playthings. Your screams of denial shall amuse me as I send this rock and all upon it to shatter upon the ground below. God, is that Rodlia? Where's she been hiding that ship? Or that ship, whatever. Where's she been hiding that ship? There we go, better. I would not tire my arms with the swatting of so many flies. The Nullstone is mine, and there is yet much to be done. Oh well, and I don't like I saw 2 demons in one day. Found some new dogs to lick your boots, rather. Is that any way to welcome me back to life? You needed allies, and persuading our reluctant fellows to join in common purpose is a feat only a woman of my charming beauty could accomplish. And besides, you look too injured to be of much use to anyone. You'd best take to your bed, old man, and let me and your champion there take care of the Void Scent. What? So we can tuck tail and run again at the first sign of trouble? You'd not even be standing here if it weren't for me. And even with me arm busted, I'm still twice the pirate you are. Nay, I think you should stay behind this time, Leofard. We must pursue Diabolos without you. Time is of the essence, and we cannot afford to wait for you to heal. We must take advantage of Captain Radlia's reinforcements and proceed with all haste. The demon drop you on your head, Furball. Without me there to run things, you'll just end up getting in Lynn's way. And no one's making haste anywhere until we know what we're flying into. Again, Captain Radlia may hold the answer to that dilemma. I suspect that the island where she uncovered the mighty tome is the very location where Diabolos has chosen to lair. This floating marvel I speak of is not a natural occurrence. It was constructed as a haven for refugees of the floods. The tomes made very clear reference to the island's purpose, and describes in detail the Void and sorcery employed in its creation. As the Void Ark never arrived at its destination, however, the island remained uninhabited. I can imagine no more suitable hideaway for our scheming fiend. Even better, Diabolos will not expect us to suddenly arrive on his secluded doorstep. The Talon fleet will carve us a path to the lesser fiends, and we shall strike swiftly into the heart of the confusion to seize the Nullstone. Once the relic is secured, I will use its power to obliterate that devilish foe. As a sky pirate, surely you understand how such an assault relies on speed and surprise. We cannot have a wounded companion slow us down and potentially doom the entire enterprise. So you think you're in charge now, do you, puss? Poor broken Leofard, just some dead weight you need to cut away. You know what? I've had a bellyful of your mule in any case. Go on, fly without me and see how far you can get with your thrice-damned enterprise. Captain Radia, compare the direction indicated by the ectocompass with your navigational records, if you please. I think we'll find the coordinates coincide with the island in question. Certainly, and feel free to board our flagship when you're set to depart. My darling is large enough to accommodate your adventures and your fellows with room to spare. As Scaith is now accessible. This place is quite something. And I'm gonna be tanking it, which makes it even more interesting. But whether or not I'll be main tanking is, you know, depends on other people, I suppose. Anyway, I will be right back again. Oh my god! It didn't take as long as the Wiping City, but... Or the Weeping City, sorry. I just said a Wiping City so many times that I keep forgetting that the Weeping City is a thing. Anyway, that's, you know, the actual name. Come on, healer. Come on, healer. Give the healer to us. Come on, healer. Please, healer? Did I really unpause the recording? And then it's just not okay, it's like... Christ. Made that noise and my cat was like, oh, time to join you again. When you're recording, of course. Anyway, this particular alliance raid is known for its difficulty, honestly. Just about every single encounter in this alliance raid is deadly. And it gets boss-wise. Let's see if anybody else is... One other tank gets her tanks and stuff. Alright, our first little enemy on the list is Death Hollow. Or Death Case Hollow, sorry. This guy is already a pretty good example of what this place will be about. So, Void Death. You get sucked in and run away as far away as you can because the thing is going to suck one last time. Anybody in the AoE while the thing goes off immediately dies. Then Void Arrow, where he's going to drop different puddles on different people. Like I've suddenly just provoked and then immediately lost aggro again because they're not doing enough damage, question mark. Void Blizzard, just AoEs. Not too bad to avoid. I'm gonna use Rampart, just to negate the auto attacks a little bit. And Void Arrow 3. Puddle in the middle. If you stand in the middle, you will most likely get one shot. Otherwise, just aim yourself and you will be knocked into a certain direction of the ship. Doomsday. With this, he is going to inflict random party members with Doom, which can be dispelled with Esmond. Another Void Blizzard 4, actually. This is different. This is proximity-based damage. And then you need to make it so that you are aligned with one of these, because now he's going to do Void Arrow 4, and he's going to knock everybody away. This is the kind of stuff that kind of... I feel like this is the stuff that really kills a lot of people. It's like the unsuspecting knockback shenanigans. That's the thing that like really fucks people over in this particular dungeon. Or in this particular alliance raid. Another Void Arrow 3, but this time with a little bit of a spice add to it. He's going to fly to a certain side, make sure that you, or try in any case, to get knocked to the other side. It's not necessary, it won't kill you outright, but it is a pretty good idea, since the other side's going to get blasted by a laser sent from your boy himself. No need to worry about like anything cleaving or whatever, just like the main tank is just going to get hit every now and again. No cleaves, nothing too dangerous from that front. Main tank in this in general isn't too bad, as long as your healers are alive. Since we're at level 60 content and I'm playing as Paladin, I can also heal myself with freaking Clemency if I want to. But I will trust in my healers, and I will most likely not do that. Only in moments of absolute danger. Void Death 4. When he casts this, any square that has this on it will be hit with an instant death. Alright, so one of these, I'm just gonna pop sprint, because I was a little slow with starting to run. I would rather not die since I am main tanking right now. I would just rather not die in general. Seems like a pretty good idea to me. Right, so I'm just gonna leave this square prematurely so I don't forget to leave it if I need to. Another Void Blizzard. This time one pillar will remain. Once again, make sure that you align yourself with the ice cube, otherwise you will get knocked off of the ship. Like all of those people just got knocked off of the ship. Also, these like squares over here getting marked with the depth stuff is basically a soft enrage. So at some point, all of the squares will be filled, and then he will just kill everybody on the ship, basically. So there is also a DPS check to this. Yeah, screw this. I'm gonna get hit with the freaking thing, but it's better than being in the middle of it. If you're in the middle of it, when it blows up, you die immediately. So, I would much rather take the bleeding debuff than die immediately. I'm gonna avoid that 4. Another Doomsday. Down he goes. A very nice little introduction to the way that Dunscape is going to work for the most part. I fortunately know quite a lot about this place, because I did it a lot. Also because I like it. Now you get to see the effect when you're the first one to go in there. It's really wild. And then this little encounter. Nothing really needs to be tanked. However, if you are fast enough, then you can kill the crystals before they get to finish their Void Call attack. Or cast. When they finish the Void Call cast, they will then turn into enemies that you have to fight. The first set over here isn't too bad, but the next set has 4 of them, and also some unblinking eyes, which you have to avoid or gaze from, or get petrified. So yeah, this one usually ends with people not being able to finish them off before the Void Sense spawn. Let's put it around to avoid the other gaze attack. Right, and then we're gonna get... I'm actually gonna get 2 of them apparently. And also the Dunscape Dragon. I'll mainly focus on this one. Or in any case try to. Until somebody decides to overtake my aggro and the entire party gets hit with a cleave. It does happen like that though, honestly. That's like the biggest thing I've noticed since I am a tank main. It doesn't really change much, but... Playing a lot of tank, you just notice a couple of things that happen where you're just like, One of the things that happens the most to me is just people provoking an alliance raid, and then... They don't really know how to deal with the mechanic, they just want to tank. They want a main tank, or they don't know anything about it or whatever, I don't know. It seems like they just want a main tank, but then once they start main tanking, they immediately die or do some stuff which really is not safe for anybody. Someone just yelled help. Say hello to Furiad Hollow. he will send out these little scythes, similar to his fight in the dungeon. They will also use a wormhole, where he will yeet a certain thing into one of the atomoses, and it will end up in the other atomos of the same color. These orbs will just blow up in a huge AoE, so just be far enough away from them. Jester's Reap, a little cleave in front of him. Youngleur X, this is the tank buster. Doesn't do that much damage, but if you don't use a cooldown, you'll probably regret it. Alright, next up we have this one over here, which would be a donut. So go to the wormhole that has the thing on it, or the atomos, whatever, and you will be able to avoid the attack. Debilitator. You will have a certain weakness, and then people are supposed to swap the swap these little puddles into the opposite element. Is the idea. It will lower the amount of damage we take from that. Alright, then he's gonna go and do his ad phase. Avoid the gaze of these guys, because he's gonna spit out freaking 30 ad rule boys. Which are problematic, to say the least. There's also a couple of them that petrify, so keep it in mind. Keep an eye on that, if you can. And it's gonna do a lucky Period, we're just gonna do a line attack in a direction, then get spit out of the atomos again. Alright, and then Period is going to do a big ol' rate line attack. Which I think also its damage is probably based on how long the ads are alive. But I'm not 100% sure about that, of course. Since I've never really seen it happen. Alright, now both atomos are gonna get balls thrown in him, so both of them are gonna be huge AoEs. So avoid both of them. There we go. I'm just gonna stick on here. The thing is, Period tends to move around himself anyway, so there's no point in pulling this boss to the other side of the arena. Alright, more of the size from before. Just drop them away from the party. Away from Period, preferably. So the melee is gonna keep doing damage. And then we have Blackfire. These AoEs will expand over time. So look for a safe spot. I went all the way over here, even though it was safe. Could have been safe over there. Oh well. Jester's Reap. And our Youngleur X. And another Debilitator. So at this point we've basically seen all of them count. Except for this. We've seen all of the mechanics. Shows a new mechanic. Surprise me. Not much of a mechanic though, just a stack marker. It's fairly simple to deal with. And down he goes. Time for Proto Ultima, which is not really a boss, it's just a little encounter. It's not... Well, I guess it's kind of a boss, but it doesn't fit, like, the amount of power that the other bosses have. I think it's just a normal encounter, though, because the next objective is to arrive at the Queen's places. Anyway, what is Proto Ultima doing here? I don't know. Chemical Flare, I think that is a Ray Flag. Holy bejesus. I don't think I've seen him be able to do that attack before. Anyway, next up into all stack in the middle, because we will have to deal with a stack model. Then look for... sorry, go to the edge. I went to the wrong thing. If you're in that AoE, you'll be pulled towards the middle, so you can avoid it by staying right on the edge, wait for it to pop, and then you can go to the edge and still take minimal damage. And then go out of the way, out of the line of sight from the Ultima, or Photo Ultima. And you can avoid the big old laser. Then ass. I think one of the other tanks has that. But I'm still technically dealing with the big one. Supernova! Big ol' attack. It's a pretty sizable amount of damage if I recall. And then at a certain percentage, he's going to have the ether collectors appear. Where he's going to be charging for another supernova, which I think will wipe us if it manages to finish its cast. This boss used to be different in the original version of Scaith. It used to be like a succubus kind of boss. And I wasn't there, so I have no idea. You also get LB3 for this fight, which you should probably use to kill Proto before you finish the fight. I think we can still do it without it, but you know, it's cool. Using LB3 is always nice. Let me put my weapon away, kids. We ain't in combat yet. Bum bum. Alright, it's time for a cutscene. And time for people to pull the boss before I get there. Which is fine by me. Well, fine. I would rather that not be the case, but whatever. And would you look at that? They did pull without me. Nice. Oh well. Say hello to Scaith. 1-2, that's a tank buster right there. Not... like the game's not giving you a sign whatsoever, just suddenly a tank buster. And then she will also do an AoE around her. And she will gather her wings, shadow wings or whatever the hell. Shade spin, be it either over here or on the opposite side. Just avoid where the wings are, basically. I'm gonna turn my tank sense off because I'm not taking over this freaking aggro. I'll take it over if one dies. Also get away from her when she does that. When she just randomly teleports to somebody. Kind of difficult to do as I melee. But I will. This over here, as long as you do not move, you will not be hit with a debuff. If you do move during that, you will be hit with these freaking tendrils. Alright, now she's gonna summon her protege, which should be pulled away from Scaith. And also killed immediately. Preferably. Or as fast as possible. Because if he lives for too long, he will do a rate-wide attack, which will do a buttload of damage. Full swing, there it is. There we go. Not too bad there. I'm once again not going to... I'm gonna put my tank sense off because I don't want to overtake aggro from whatever person is tanking with it. Alright, Shade Spin. And then this freaking thing. I don't know the name of it. It's a big orb that follows one person, basically. There's a giant AoE on it, and it's... honestly kind of a pain in the butt to deal with. Shade Thrust! Whichever direction she's pointing, will have a line attack in front of them. Then these hands over here. So the shadow limbs will follow you, unless if you look at them. If you look at them, they will stop moving, and then the DPS can kill. I think 30 souls is just the raid wipe? Yeah. I'm not sure if I mentioned that already. Alright. And now we have ads to deal with, because what fight in ff14 exists that doesn't have ads? Shadowcore Jesters, and then we have Chimera Puppets. There's also little meteor things to take. Can I be fast enough? Nice. Dragon's Voice, just interrupt them. Or stun him, one of the two. So you can avoid having to deal with that. Either that or stay close to him when it's a voice, and far away when it's... Wait. Sorry, stay close when it's a dragon, and go far away when it's the ram. That's how it goes. Alright, then we have Blinding Shadow, which is another pretty big attack. Which is of course based on how long the ads are alive. I should put my tanks off. I thought I was tanking. Try to avoid her front for when she does that like tank buster out of nowhere. Because it will most likely kill people. Any DPS definitely. Seems like other people are already on taking the middles. Except the middle one, apparently. The boss is getting turned around a lot. Another 30 souls. So people will now use their LB3s, and you will see in a moment she's going to summon her ad. They are going to ignore the ad, most likely. I think we'll have enough DPS to kill him though. I'd like to kill her before she summons the ad. The thing that usually happens, or I've seen happen a lot of times in a case, is that she summons the ad, then people ignore the ad and try to kill Scaith, or too late, and then we all die. That's just kind of a thing that tends to happen. The treasures are behind you, by the way. And now we have Diabolus coming to fight us. Is that one freaking tank gonna jump in, or are they too scared of Diabolus? You should rightly be scared of this boss, I can guarantee it. Alright, so this first part of Diabolus... Oh, spoilers, just more points. Anyway, in the beginning, Diabolus cleaves, so try to point him away from the things. When he casts Nightmare, you can just stun him. You can either look away or just straight up stun the guy. Very similar to his fight in the Lost City of Andaport. And then there's little death gates, which you can destroy, and you probably should. Because otherwise you will have to deal with more ads. More Nightmare. Just look away, or stun him, one of the two. Somebody just stun him, so I don't need to look away anymore. Stun doesn't work forever. Also, when he casts this, he will be immune to stun. And it's going to start casting Ruinous Omen, which is his big raid-wide attack. I used Reprisal way too early. But I seem to not be the only one who did that. There we go. And then we have a stack marker. If you're the main tank, do not join it, because otherwise you will cleave the entire party. Which won't be horrible, mind you, but, you know, it's not amazing. Ultimate Terror, stay close to him, otherwise you will have to deal with a Von stack of some kind, basically. And at some point, he's gonna just get the fuck out of here. Then he will summon the Life Gate, which we all have to DPS. And what is that going to do, you may ask? Well, it will turn into a beam struggle. So our DPS is the beam struggle against his ether, which you can see building up in the right corner between like Judy information. He's also going to summon some death gates every now and again. Oh, I think only one set really. The gate also becomes beefier with every single time that we like push the ball back. And there we go. So he will now fuse with the Queen, do a pretty sizable amount of damage with Dream Shroud. And now, for the beginning part of this fight, he will not be taking any damage. However, your damage will matter, because it's basically destroying a shield that he has around him. But now he will do critical damage on every one of his attacks. So, if you're the main tank right now, you are going to be taking a buttload of damage. Holo Kamisado. Like, Kamisado is his tank buster. Holo Kamisado is just like an improved version of that. Just in general, he does a lot of damage right now. With basically everything he does. For as long as he has the shield on him, the barrier, then he will do a buttload of damage. So usually it's recommended to either have, like, if you're, like, either your healers will be good enough, or if they aren't really, then you can also... Like, if you're a healer from another alliance, I would suggest, like, casting a regen on the main tank or whatever. Other than that, we also have this new thing over here, which is stack marker, but you need to also look away from the person who the stack marker belongs to. Otherwise, you will be hit with hysteria, and you will run around at random. Alright. The Diabolic Gate in the middle is going to suck you in, and you have to do it adds in there. Then the Death Gate. Well, the Death Gates we've already seen, they will just summon adds. He also got himself a vulnerability down while this stuff is happening. And then Shade Thrust again. Stand in it, and now it doesn't do crit damage anymore, so it's not that bad, but yeah. Pavor in Nanis is the raid wide damage that he does every now and again. Another one of these. Just look away from the person in the middle and stay in the stack marker. And then you should be fine. Another Holo Kamisado. He does a lot of these. But the main tank seems to be doing a pretty good job, so that's nice. Me? Really? Oh boy. Time to run through the freaking edge. And then run around a little bit, look away from the big boy, because he's going to otherwise put me to sleep. Right. These little orbs are going to blow up too, hitting you with heavy and doing a sizable amount of damage. And then he's going to start casting Hollow Omen, which is a hefty hitting attack. I would suggest getting some mitigation on this. The more the better, I would say. After that is done, he will start casting Double Edge, where sustaining damage over time in exchange for dealing increased damage to targets. So he's now basically killing himself, but to have increased damage. We also do Earth Shakers, very similar to what happened in Bahamut. Just people get aimed to it and they get line attacks. Try to not stack them up, and it'll be fine. More stacking. There's a lot of stack marks in this part, so it will keep doing it too. FYI. And down he goes. What's done is done. Yeah. That went a lot smoother than I expected. Well, I've had some pretty horrible runs in this place, so that's why. Yeah, and get that onto healer. You can get Void Matter, which is a crafting material. You can get a minion, of course. Or if you're lucky, you can get a card, which I didn't get. As per usual, that's some high rolls, actually. I did not get a single piece of tanking gear there. That's a little bit unfortunate. Oh well. Alright, time for some story, y'all. Do not relax your guard yet, Lyn. The air is still heavy with his foul presence. Already taken care of the fiend, have you? And you didn't even need that dusty old relic to do it. Be careful, Captain. Diabolos yet lurks in the shadows. Finally have I claimed the Shadow Queen's power for mine own, yet still am I harried by you noisome weevils. I must needs quit this realm for a time, and when I have grown accustomed to my newfound might, there shall be a reckoning for your insolence. This ain't the time for a nap and furball, you've still got a job to do. Nice throw. Aye, my work here is unfinished. In Caesar's name, I unmake thee, Diabolos. My master's will be done. Ah, for 15 centuries have I yearned for this power. Thou canst not unmake me. No. No. Usual. I am a bad villain. I'm about to die. Rip, mate. Should have known we were wasting our breaths. The captain only heeds the sound in his heart. And damn the consequences. Told you you'd be lost without me, didn't I? And look at you, puss, getting knocked out cold in your moment of glory. You weren't like to get another chance to honor your master's memory, and you almost missed it. But I suppose you pulled through at the last, huh? I'll give you that much. Spare me your concern, your lectures. You all knew I wasn't like to stay a bit with such a grand adventure in the making. And I'd rather break every bone in my body than be stripped of the freedom to go where I please. Besides, all's well that ends well, eh? The Abolist is dead and we're all alive. That counts as a victory in my book. Just a pity that it cost me the Remy in the doing of it. Hope she rests easy on that island refuge. My goggles are a mess, and I can always get away with a new pair of goggles and a new airship. Suppose I should be glad we didn't lose all else after diving headlong into a void-sent nest. Now that we've taken the skies back, it's time we were taking our leave. The Talons and the Red Bills can kiss this brief alliance farewell. Unless, of course, you're interested in more permanent arrangement. Your bootleggers might think your voice a siren song, but it grates on my ears like a harpy's screech. No, this is the first and the last time we fly together. We're back to being rivals, the way it's always been. You're a stubborn man, Red Bill, but you do well to remember I always get what I want in the end. Head back to my quarters and see to the furball's hurts. I'll be along in a bit. I feel so foolish, Lyn. I demanded the Leoford remain behind, only to have him rescue my mission from certain failure. A failure that would have made mock of your heroic efforts as well. You are too kind. What words exist I can properly express my contrition. I know not how to even begin making my apologies. I should like to approach the captain, but he has the air of a man who seeks solitude. Strange to see him so melancholy. Could it be the loss of the Remy that troubles him so? Nay. I shan't intrude upon his contemplation with clumsy questions and trite platitudes. Let us leave him be for the moment. I love the little steps. Anyway, I will be right back. Alright. Let us go and talk to the people. Lyn, a woman of the people. Mrs. Stasia, if I might ask you a question. Do you know the cause of the captain's melancholy? Is it because of the Raimi? Pray tell me if it is so. I cannot help but feel responsible for the vessel's destruction, and I would better understand Leofard's present distress. If you really want to understand, I suppose I should start with how the captain was orphaned as a child. As matters turned out, he was taken in by a highborn widow who raised him as her son. From what Leofard has told me, his adoptive mother was a kind, quiet-spoken woman. But due to some illness or other, she was rarely able to venture outside. Instead, she spent hours reading to her boy from a library well stocked with books from faraway lands. Leofard cared for her as her malady grew worse by the day, and he was there by her side when death finally carried her away to Thal's halls. Yeah. While she was alive, she never did ask much of him. Not long before she passed on, however, she wrung from him one single promise, that he escape the conformity she had always endured, and live his life as free as a bird. As you've likely guessed, her name was Remy. That's her portrait there, hanging on the wall. Ah, this explains much. I'd wondered as to the origin of this vessel's naming. The Sky Pirate Way is the life of Leofard. The life Leofard chose for himself. But I like to think he named his ship the Remy, so that his mother would be there to watch over all of his adventures. Since when were we so loose-lipped about a comrade's private past? Stasha, whatever. I ain't in the habit of leaning on people's sympathies, so you can all keep that tidbit to yourselves, eh? And I thought I told you to see to the Furball's wounds. Look at your cape, Puss. It's in tatters. Come here a moment. A scarf? For me? Why, it's a little present we give to every new Red Bill. Remy taught me that it's not protecting memories that's important, it's having the strength to follow your path and make those memories in the first place. Seeing how determined you were to clean your master's slate, I'd say you'd fit right in with her crew. Listen, if you're thinking that that little airship meant a lot to me, then you'd be right. But I'd rather mourn a hunk of metal than lose them as can share in me highs and lows. So let's get straight, Puss. There's no need for apologies. Sky Pirate makes his choice and he sticks by it. Life of a Sky Pirate, hmm? As I seem to be bereft of both place and purpose now, I suppose I shall accept your offer. I am yours to command, Captain. Glad to hear it. Your first duty is to join us in giving our adventurer here a proper send-off. That's about bloody time you two saw eye to eye, but honestly, Captain, you don't mean to head out in those rags, do you? Let's get you cleaned up as well before we say our fond farewells. It's time we parted ways, Lynn. Let's give you an escort down to Coldwind. Bye. I have one arm is occupied with a cat next to me. Now with some adventure, Lynn. But our journey into the unknown is over. Or it's not over? For the now. Ah, there we go. It's over for the now. When the skies spit out some new mystery, you can bet that I'm coming to find you. After all, there ain't nobody else who handles the unexpected quite like you do. High adventurer and a heady rush of danger. Surely in this life there's no greater reward. She got a moment where we could see Lynn's earrings. Nani? Alright, there's a legendary thing to behold for sure. Alright. And that is it for the Sky Pirates and the Alliance raid of Heavensward. As we get some scrolls from earlier. And also a red bill scarf. Can my cat please just leave me alone for a little bit? The red scarf looks pretty dang good. But it's very specific. Like, you cannot dye it, you cannot give it a color or anything, so... It can be kind of difficult to fit in every now and again. A couple of pieces of gear, but... I don't really like the diabolic stuff that much. The Euphemie is much better, in my most humblest of opinions. I may off-camera do some of those, like run some of those to get the gear, but I don't know quite yet. Anyway, for now, this is the end of the episode. I hope you enjoyed this episode of Just That. I was playing Final Fantasy XIV, and next episode we're going to go and deal with... the normal raid series. So the Coils of Bahamut, but then from Heavensward. Goodbye.